The atmosphere. It was November 24th, 1971, a day defined by cold rain and low clouds across the Pacific Northwest. In Portland, Oregon, a man carrying a simple black attaché case walked up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter. He was calm, dressed in a dark business suit, a white shirt, and a black clip-on tie. He used the name Dan Cooper, a name that would soon be misreported by the media as D.B. Cooper and etched into the annals of criminal history forever. He paid $20 in cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle. It was a short flight, a mere 30-minute hop. But for Dan Cooper, it was the first step of a journey that would end in the clouds and leave the world baffled for over half a century. The hijacking begins. Inside the cabin of Flight 305, a Boeing 727, Cooper took seat 18C. He was the picture of an ordinary businessman. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and waited. Shortly after takeoff, he signaled to Florence Schaffner, a 23-year-old flight attendant. He handed her a folded slip of paper. Assuming it was just a lonely businessman's phone number, she dropped it into her purse. Cooper leaned in and whispered a sentence that changed everything. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Schaffner opened the note. It was written in all capital letters with a felt-tip pen. It demanded $200,000 in negotiable American currency, all in $20 bills, and 4 parachutes. Most importantly, it demanded a fuel truck to be waiting in Seattle. To prove he wasn't bluffing, Cooper opened his briefcase. Inside, Schaffner saw 8 red cylinders attached to wires and a large battery. It was a masterpiece of intimidation. Cooper was now in total control. The cold professional. What followed was one of the strangest hostage situations in history. Cooper wasn't a nervous, erratic hijacker. He was polite, composed, and seemingly familiar with the local terrain. While the plane circled Seattle for 2 hours to give the FBI time to gather the cash and parachutes, Cooper sat quietly, sipping his drink. He even offered to pay his drink tab and tried to order meals for the crew. When the plane finally landed at Seattle-Tacoma Airport, the sun had set. Cooper allowed all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave in exchange for the money and the parachutes. He kept the pilots, a flight engineer, and 1 attendant, Tina Mucklow, as hostages. During the refueling, Cooper gave his final flight plan, Mexico City, but he had specific conditions. He ordered the pilots to fly at the minimum possible airspeed, about 170 knots, and to stay below 10,000 feet. He also demanded that the landing gear remain down and the cabin remain unpressurized. He was preparing for an exit. The leap into the void. At 7:40 p.m., the Boeing 727 took off into a brutal thunderstorm. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Cooper ordered Tina Mucklow into the cockpit and told her to close the curtain. He was now alone in the cabin. At 8 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit. The aft air stairs, the stairs at the tail of the plane, had been deployed. The pilots felt a sudden change in air pressure. Over the intercom, the captain asked, "Is there anything we can do for you?" Cooper's voice came back, cold and final. "No." At 8:13 p.m., the aircraft's tail section suddenly pitched upward. This was the moment. D.B. Cooper, carrying 21 pounds of cash and wearing nothing but a suit and a parachute, stepped off the stairs into a 200-mile-per-hour wind. He plunged into a freezing darkness, falling toward the rugged, unforgiving wilderness of the Cascade Mountains. He vanished into a wall of rain and clouds. Operation Norjack. The FBI's investigation, codenamed Operation Norjack, was massive. They scrambled fighter jets to follow the plane, but because of the low altitude and slow speed, the jets couldn't stay behind the 727 without stalling. They missed the jump. For weeks, ground teams, helicopters, and even a submarine in a nearby lake searched for any sign of the hijacker. They found nothing. Investigators were puzzled by the parachutes Cooper chose. He had passed over a superior professional parachute in favor of a simpler, non-steerable one. He also chose a dummy reserve parachute that was sewn shut for training purposes, something a real expert would have noticed. This led the FBI to a grim conclusion. Cooper was likely not a pro. They believed he died the moment he hit the freezing air or the jagged treetops below. The 1980 discovery. The case went cold for nearly a decade until February 1980. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand at Tina Bar, a beach along the Columbia River. He uncovered 3 rotting bundles of cash. It was $5,800. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. The find sparked a frenzy. Did the money wash down the river from Cooper's body? Or did he bury it there as a decoy? Geologists analyzed the sand and found that the money arrived at